Lucy Sullivan and I study arts and law at Macquarie University, and I've been part of Power to Change for about 4 years now.
My name is Christian Cordia. This is my first Power to Change conference I've been to, the mid-year. I come from UWA. I'm in Western Australia and studying biomedicine. So we've been at the mid-year conference and we've been told that we're going to go on an outreach in just the local area. So we were pretty nervous. Well, I was pretty nervous since it was my first one. So we went out to our first house, prayed before we went in, and there was a lady who came to the door, and she wasn't very keen to talk to us, but she said she'll answer the questions, and we found out a bit about her, how she's agnostic and atheist, but she's still a bit open. She's learned in Sunday school about Jesus and God, but she wasn't really willing to continue very much after that. And then we just went to a couple of houses, and a lot of people said that they're not interested. Some we were just there for a short while talking to them, and yeah, until we got to a very specific house. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so before we went into this house, we'd realised that we kind of had been cruising through a bit and we were getting a bit tired, and that we actually needed to stop and pray before we went in, because we only had a few houses left. So we stopped and we prayed. And then we approached this house, and this man came to the door, and at the time we thought the conversation wasn't going to go anywhere because he took a really long time to come to the door, and when he came out, he looked like he was in a lot of pain. He looked kind of like he had just woken up and a bit disgruntled. But we introduced ourselves, we gave him the little spiel and asked if he had time to chat, and he actually said yes, and he came out onto his veranda and sat with us. And we ended up sitting with him on his veranda and chatting for over an hour. And what happened is he just opened up really quickly about his life, about the experiences he had as a kid, where he had been put in a Catholic boys' home because his mum couldn't take care of him anymore, and the experiences of religion he had in that. He also shared with us a lot about his family and a lot of difficulties. So he had been going to an Anglican church with his wife, but she left him and also took all his children, so he was now alone. He didn't fit into the church community anymore, kind of disconnected from his own kids, and because of his health he also wasn't connected with his work anymore, and he couldn't continue in his employment. And so as we were sitting there and mostly just listening the whole time, we were both feeling pretty overwhelmed by all the things he was sharing and a lot of the brokenness that had been experienced in his life. And as we were running through the questions, every time we'd ask one, it would open up these whole series of stories about things that he had experienced about faith and also just his life and his journey. And we discovered that through the questions and through talking to him that he just had a really big, generous heart, a really big heart to love people, but also a real sense of loneliness. And so we asked him about joining discovery groups and whether he would be interested in connecting with people to talk about Jesus. And he recognised in himself that, yeah, he did feel incomplete, and he felt like there was something missing from his life, and he also really desired to be connected with a community. So we talked a bit about what that would look like, and really spent that time just hearing his stories and hearing what had happened in his life. And through that time together sharing, he was really curious about where we had gone to church and why we were there listening to him, and he was really keen to be connected with others and keep learning about faith. But I think the biggest thing that was important in our conversation was just the opportunity to love him for over an hour, to be people who could just sit with him and hear his life stories and hear the hurt that he had experienced and the struggles with faith he had experienced, and to be people in that situation who could then connect him with a community and connect him with Jesus and with people who would love him and care for him through those broken experiences that he'd had. In the end, Christian, before we left, offered to pray, so we sat with him and prayed with him, and were able to get down all his details and promised that someone from Power to Change would be calling so he could get connected with a group.
He was a man that was really broken down, and he had a lot of love inside of him, and he really just wanted to love and connect with everyone around him, everyone he met, but no one was reciprocating it at the time, and he really just wanted somebody to talk to. And I feel like God placed us there just for him in his time of need, just to lay it out, tell his life story to people, because he just loves talking to people. He's a very kind-hearted man, and I feel very blessed that I got to meet him at the end of the day.